More spring training baseball coming up here on Major League Baseball's virtual network. I'm Nicholas Callis, and today it's a Cactus League game between a couple of National League teams in Major League Baseball. It's the Chicago Cubs playing the Colorado Rockies. Nolan Arenado, they're giving high fives to his team. He's pumped. And here's the starting pitcher for the Rockies, Antonio Senzatella. Those are his stats from 2019. A quality starter with maybe a bit of a high ERA, but still an 11-11 record. Starting tonight, the Rockies struggled last year in the regular season after making the wild card game in 2018. This team did not make playoffs in 2019, despite having several similar pieces. Here's Chris Bryant standing to the plate. First pitch from Senzatella. That pitch just misses, and this game underway. Chris Bryant, World Series champion and National League MVP in 2016. He made his debut with the Cubs in 2015 and rocked Cubs Nation. Immediately when he came up to the majors, he was a superstar here in Chicago and has been one of the league's top players ever since. Versatile, can play the outfield, first base, but primarily a third baseman. As Senzatella misses outside, it's 3-1. Over the past few years, the Cubs have really been known for moving the lineup around, and Chris Bryant trying a leadoff position after being a middle-of-the-order hitter for the majority of his career. Don't know how long this will stick, though, as Senzatella walks Bryant, and now here comes Anthony Rizzo. Rizzo, who is also a middle-of-the-order hitter, has hit leadoff for the Cubs in recent years. Of course, this year the Cubs are under new management. Joe Madden and the Cubs parted ways. He now manages the Angels, and first-year manager for any team, David Ross, is now managing the Cubs. That pitch misses high. That's a ball. One ball, no strikes. Chris Bryant walked to lead off the game. 1-0 pitch. That's a strike. Count is even at 1. Anthony Rizzo made his debut with the San Diego Padres in 2011. Since then, he was moved over to the Cubs and has become a sensation here as well. Has a career batting average of .273. He has 218 home runs and 729 RBIs. Two-one pitch coming from Senzatella. Ripped to left, but that's going to go foul, and the count is now even at 2-2. So on January 6, 2012, the Chicago Cubs traded Andrew Kashner and a prospect to the Padres for Anthony Rizzo and another prospect named Zach Cates, right-handed pitcher. That's grounded up the middle. Senzatella to Story, back to Murphy, and Anthony Rizzo grounds into a double play. 2 outs here in the top of the first. And here's the starting lineup for the Chicago Cubs now. Jason Kipnis, the newest addition to the team, signed a minor league contract and still hasn't officially made the major league roster yet, but he's been performing well enough to be in the starting lineup now and consistently throughout the spring. 2 outs here is Javier Baez. Baez, the cover athlete of MLB The Show 20. Oh, 1 pitch. Chases that pitch, and Senzatella has Baez down to the count now. No balls and 2 strikes. Baez starting tonight's game at shortstop. That misses inside, and the count's 1-2. Senzatella into the windup in the pitch. He is hit well to right center field. That's going to split the gap. Baez on his way to second. Picked up by Blackman in right, and he gets it into the cutoff man quickly. That's a 2-out double for Javier Baez in this inning. Not quite over yet. So Chris Bryant led off the ball game with a walk. Anthony Rizzo grounded into a double play. Javier Baez just doubled with 2 outs, and now here's Kyle Schwarber. Rips that to right. That's close to the foul pole. And that's a home run. That stays fair. Kyle Schwarber hits a 2-run home run with 2 outs in the top of the first, and it's an early 2-0 lead for the Chicago Cubs. Schwarber's got a low to high swing, and he's lower in the zone. That pitch wasn't too high in the zone, but Schwarber with enough power at the lower half to smack that pitch on a line drive over the wall. And now here's Wilson Contreras. And I must say, for the broadcasts we've done so far, the home team has not been favored at all as Contreras hits that past Arenado into left field. Contreras trying for second base. The throw to Story into McMahon is well late. And now Wilson Contreras aboard with a 2-out double. The away team has not had good fortunes on our virtual network broadcast so far. And it's way too early to say that the Rockies are out of this game. But the home team has been shut out in each of the past 3 spring games that we've covered here on the MLB Virtual Network, and not a good sign that the Cubs are up 2-0, that might change. Just been some bad stigma against home teams on our broadcasts here on the MLB Virtual Network. 0-1 pitch. Jason Hayward takes high. That's a ball. Jason Hayward debuted and became an instant superstar with the Atlanta Braves. In the 2014-15 offseason, he was traded to help the Cardinals outfield in St. Louis and then signed a mega deal with the Cubs in the 2015-16 offseason. Swing and a miss, counts even at 2. Still a great defender in the outfield. Primarily plays right in center field, but for all the money that he signed for, he's been critiqued for his lack of offensive production. Hard hit grounder to McMahon at second, throws to Murphy at first. That ends the inning. Cubs score 2 runs in the inning thanks to this Kyle Schwarber 2-run home run. Going to the bottom of the first, it's the Cubs 2, the Rockies coming to bat. Jose Quintana on the mound for the Chicago Cubs. He was part of a trade with the White Sox that sent Eloy Jimenez from Chicago to Chicago. This was a trade between the Cubs and the White Sox. But Jimenez went from the Cubs prospect system to the White Sox, and the White Sox sent over Jose Quintana to the Cubs. And not that he was terrible in Chicago, but he broke out here with the Cubs, did Quintana, facing Trevor Story to begin the Rockies' offensive half of the first. That's ripped to left field. Close to the foul pole. And that's foul. Well, that was close to being a home run, and Quintana looks like he has some fear in his eyes now. Here's the 0-1 pitch. On the ground, there's Baez, throws to Rizzo, and Story close to putting the Rockies on the board in the first. Rounds out to short, 1 out. Here's the Rockies starting lineup. Pieces are pretty similar, except you see Elias Diaz. He's batting in the 8th spot at catcher. Former Pittsburgh Pirates catcher was released toward the end of 2019. Here's Charlie Blackmon. That pitch misses low. He and Tony Walters are platoon catchers right now for the Rockies. And since there's a lefty on the mound, the right-handed hitting Elias Diaz will get the start in this game. Walters, a left-handed hitter, typically bats against right-handed pitching. But Quintana with the Cubs in his first full season went 13-11. That was in 2018. And then his second full season in 2019 went 13-9. Now to left. There's Kyle Schwarber making the catch. And 2 quick outs for Quintana, and that'll bring up number 3 hitter for the Rockies, Nolan Arenado. Arenado, one of the best players in the game right now. Great defensive third baseman, and has been a consistent hitter for a number of years. That pitch misses low. Quintana at 7 pitches through his first 2 outs here in the first. Strike 1. At the top of the zone, counts even, 1 ball and 1 strike. Nolan Arenado last season hit .315 with 41 home runs and 118 RBIs. And that's not the first time he eclipsed 40 home runs either, as that pitch fouled off. Counts 1 and 2. He was in the MVP conversation in 2015 for having a .287 average with 42 home runs and 110 RBIs. Of course, Bryce Harper won that year, and Harper's statistics were even better than that, if you imagine that. They tied for the National League lead in home runs with 42, but Harper had a .330 average, which made him more favorable to voters. 2-out single for Nolan Arenado. Now here's cleanup hitter Daniel Murphy. Murphy, a hitter known for his consistent contact abilities. A bit on a decline now. He used to bat in the high 300s for a number of years. His average last season was .279, one of his lowest in a while. Counts even at 1. Here's Quintana's pitch. On the ground left side. Bryant's going to play it. Throws to Rizzo, and Daniel Murphy out to end the first inning. Rockies get no runs on a hit and leave 1 runner on base. Going to the second, it's the Cubs 2 and the Rockies 0. You're watching Major League Baseball's virtual network. I'm Nicholas Callis. This game brought to you by MLB The Show 20. The Cubs scored 2 runs in the top of the first on a Kyle Schwarber home run. And sent 6 batters to the plate in that top of the first, so it's going to be 7-8-9 for the Cubs. It's going to be Ian Happ, Jason Kipnis, and then the pitcher spot, Jose Quintana will come to the plate. 1-1 pitch coming. Just outside, counts 2-1. Ian Happ, a versatile player on this Cubs team from Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. He's a switch hitter, and he plays center field, second base, really any infield position. Hasn't been a consistent major leaguer, however. He is trying to make a name for himself this spring training and make the roster as a consistent starter, but in his first at-bat, strikes out.
The second baseman.
against Senzatella. And now here's Jason Kipnis, the number 8 hitter, coming in. Longtime Cleveland Indian was Jason Kipnis. Had a decline in production in 2018 and 19, and his contract was not renewed by the Indians. Cubs. And there he is now, taking strike one. Ball that misses high. Senzatella about to throw his 30th pitch. And that's ripped well to right. That's well foul. So the count's now 1 ball and 2 strikes. Ever since Addison Russell had been released by the Cubs, the Cubs have needed some help in the infield, and Kipnis looking to give the Cubs just that as he fouls that pitch off. But since Russell has been gone, Baez has moved from second to shortstop, so now the second base position is vacated as that pitch hit to center. Catch made by Ian Desmond. That's the second out. But the Cubs have been looking for a consistent second baseman. Daniel Descalzo was signed last offseason, but he's not quite heavy in any part of his game. Nothing that stands out. Solid player, solid veteran player. Cubs looking for some more consistency and to push themselves over the top after missing out on playoffs last season for the first time since 2014. Jose Quintana up now. He's down in the count quickly, 0-2 against Senzatella. 0-2 pitch, here it comes. Fouled off, count still 0-2. This is a Cactus League Major League Baseball spring training game. 2 teams from the National League. The Rockies representing the National League West, and the Cubs, a part of the National League Central Division. Grounded to third. There's Arenado to Murphy, and that ends the inning. Senzatella bounces back nicely after giving up 2 runs in the top of the first. He keeps the Cubs scoreless in the top of the second. Going to the bottom half, it's Chicago 2 and Colorado 0. You're watching Major League Baseball's virtual network, brought to you by MLB The Show 20. I'm Nicholas Callis. It's Cubs Rockies, bottom of the second inning. 5-6-7 due up for the Rockies as Quintana's pitch misses. That's ball 1. David Dahl, Ryan McMahon, and Ian Desmond all will bat in this bottom half of the second. Swing and a miss. Count is even at 1. Kyle Schwarber hit a 2-run home run in the top of the first. It gave the Cubs this early lead. Swing and a miss. Counts even at 2. That ball fouled off. David Dahl last season with the Rockies had a .302 average with 15 home runs and 61 RBIs in 100 games with the team. 2-2 pitch is swung on and missed. 94 miles per hour from Quintana. That's his first strikeout of the game, and 1 out. Here's Ryan McMahon coming up. McMahon's still some young talent on this Colorado Rockies team. Came up as a first baseman. It was a bit strange how he moved from first to second, because Daniel Murphy was signed in the 2018-19 offseason. Murphy was a second baseman but wanted to play first base when he came here. The team insisted that he do it as well. And so McMahon, who came up as a first baseman, moved back to his more natural second base position and Murphy has been taking responsibilities on defense at first base. Count 1-2 now on McMahon. Broken bat, look out, Bryant. Foul ball. Yeah, he'll need a new bat, and he gets one. McMahon hit 24 home runs with the Rockies last season. He played in 141 games, batted .250 with 83 RBIs as well. 2-2 pitch. That's fouled off as well. The at-bat stays alive. Count still even at 2. That misses low. Count run full 3-2. Ryan McMahon was a 2013 second-round draft pick with the Rockies and made his debut in August of 2017. Set career highs in several categories last season, though, becoming a consistent player as a second baseman, and Quintana misses with that pitch. That's ball 4. And that's a one-out walk issued to Ryan McMahon. That'll bring up Ian Desmond. So Dahl struck out, McMahon just walked. And here's Ian Desmond, a veteran player with the Rockies, was once a consistent shortstop, played for the Nationals. Now he's an outfielder with the Rockies. Late in his career, Desmond is entering his age 34 season. Here's the 1-0. On the ground right side, diving attempt, and stopped by Kipnis, but the throw to Rizzo's too late. And Desmond beats it out. So Quintana in some trouble now. And again, in all of our previous broadcasts, the home team had always been shut out in our spring training games. Rockies on pace to break that streak for us as that pitch is fouled off. This is the 4th spring training game the MLB Virtual Network is covering. Opening day begins on March 26th. 2 games will be broadcast live right here. As that pitch misses high to Elias Diaz, former Pittsburgh Pirate. Takes ball 1. Here's the pitch from Quintana. It's hit in the air to right, shallow. Hayward coming, and he'll make the catch. Neither runner tags, so they'll all retreat. And that's the second out. But the Major League Baseball Virtual Network on Thursday will have Twins versus Athletics at 4:10, and then the Braves playing the Diamondbacks at 7:10. Here's Antonio Senzatella as he takes strike 1 from Quintana. For the Twins Athletics game, a couple of high offensive teams as that pitch hits softly towards center field. And that's going to fall in for a hit. Happ will pick it up, throw it home. That's well late. It's cut off back to first. Tag not in time. That's an RBI single for the pitcher, Senzatella. And the walk to Ryan McMahon comes back to haunt Jose Quintana. McMahon scores from second. Desmond moves from first to third. And Trevor Story will get to bat with 2 outs and 2 runners on here on the bottom of the second inning. But on Thursday, a couple of powerful teams. Twins getting Josh Donaldson and adding some power potential to their already record-setting lineup. Grounded to short. Not played by Baez. That gets through. Desmond's going to score from third. Senzatella advances from first to second, and now aboard at first with an RBI single is Trevor Story, and there's a conference now on the mound with the Cubs. Well, that game at 7:10 as well, the Braves and the Diamondbacks. That's going to be Madison Bumgarner's debut with the D-backs. And the Braves, the reigning National League East champions. Let's go ahead and check those out on Thursday when opening day begins. Here's Charlie Blackmon now. 2 runners on, 2 outs, and he takes that pitch inside. Blackmon was once a center fielder for the Rockies and was a bit of a defensive liability, so he moved from center field to right field and has been playing there consistently for the last season. Rips that pitch, but that's foul. Always been a consistent hitter. He's got a .304 career average. Batted .314 last year with 32 home runs and 86 RBIs. Lifetime Rocky. Here's the 1-2. That hit foul down the line. Count still 1-2. On the ground, right side. There's Kipnis. Throws to Rizzo, and that ends the inning. The Rockies turned on the offense in that bottom of the second inning. 2 runs scored. And at the end of 2 full innings, it's Chicago 2 and Colorado 2. You're watching Major League Baseball's virtual network, brought to you by MLB The Show 20. I'm Nicholas Callis, and this is our 4th featured spring game covered on this network. Of course, spring training ceased around last week. But this network has a mission to bring the love of baseball to fans everywhere, even while it's in a hiatus right now. But hopefully you're enjoying watching, and these are a couple of evenly matched teams here, the Rockies and the Cubs. Evenly matched, at least in this game. It's 2-2. Top of the third. The Cubs have the leadoff hitters due up. That's Bryant up now. Anthony Rizzo due up next, and Baez in the hole. 3 balls, 1 strike. On Chris Bryant, Antonio Senzatella. There's the 3-1 over the middle of the plate. But Bryant just out in front of it. Now the count run full, 3-2. Here's the pitch. And a late on that 95-mile-per-hour fastball. But Bryant still in the at-bat. 3-2, here it is. One more time. Hit Walter right against the shift, and that stays fair. Bryant on his way to second. Blackmon picks it up. Bryant will stop at second and not get greedy. That's a leadoff double for Chris Bryant, who beats the Rockies shift. You see, everywhere was exaggerated. Both the infield and the outfield were exaggerated to the left. Bryant gets jammed, but it works out in his favor. It hugs the line down there and right. Leadoff double now. Here's Anthony Rizzo. Grounded into a double play his first time around. And takes strike 1 against Senzatella. Anthony Rizzo, along with Bryant, was a part of that 2016 World Series champion Cubs team that broke the 108 non-World Series streak. I don't even know how you would call it, but the Cubs had not won a World Series in 108 years before 2016. 1 ball, 1 strike, but Rizzo was a part of that. It's been a consistent hitter for the Cubs in the years he's been around. Last season, hit .293 with 27 home runs and 94 RBIs. Entering his age 30 season. Down on the count, 1-2 against Senzatella. Here's the pitch. That hit Walter right. That's going to go foul, and the count's still 1-2. Bryant, the runner on second. He led off this inning with a double. Senzatella's pitch. Fouled off again, and Rizzo still on the count. The Cubs scored 2 runs in the top of the first inning on a Kyle Schwarber 2-run home run. The bottom of the first and the top of the second were scoreless, and then the Rockies in the bottom of the second strung together some walks and hits. Even Senzatella, the pitcher, had an RBI in that bottom of the second inning. And the Rockies were able to tie it up. This game all full of offense early. 3-ball, 2-strike pitch. Javier Baez on deck. Left up in the zone, Rizzo out in front of it. So the count remains full at 3-2. Strike 3 called, well-placed pitch. And that's Senzatella's second strikeout of his outing. Out number 1, and stepping up to the plate, Javier Baez. Baez doubled and then scored on the Kyle Schwarber home run that followed his at-bat. Strike 1 called. Baez hit .281 last year with 29 home runs and 85 RBIs in 138 games with the Cubs. Been a lifetime Cub, debuted with the team in August of 2014 as a second baseman. See, it's that pitch foul. Some aspects of the Cubs roster changed, though, in the later seasons, and Baez was able to solidify his spot at the shortstop position, entering his age 27 season. He's also become a more disciplined hitter. He used to be a frequent free swinger and has developed some patience at the plate that helped his strikeout numbers go down over time and helped his average a little bit as well. Swing and a miss, chases that pitch. Diaz throws to Murphy. That completes the strikeout of Baez. And Bryant doesn't advance anywhere, so that's the second out of the inning. Third strikeout for Senzatella. I don't know if Baez had predetermined that he was going to swing and his brain just triggered it at the last minute, but that swing was well late. And with 2 outs, that'll bring up Kyle Schwarber. Here's the first pitch. That's high, ball 1. Excuse me if you heard that. My mute button malfunctioned there for a second. Here's the 1-0 pitch. That's outside, counts 2-0. Kyle Schwarber hit that 2-run home run back in the first inning. That gave the Cubs a 2-0 lead at the time. The Rockies responded, though, in the bottom of the second inning. And now it's a 2-1 count. Chris Bryant led this inning off with a double. And then Quintana got Rizzo and Baez to strike out. Schwarber in a favorable count. It's 2-1, and that pitch over the high outside corner, and the count is even now. 2 balls and 2 strikes. Senzatella, an opportunity to work around that leadoff double. Right side, foul ball. Count still even at 2. And Senzatella worked hard in this first third of his outing. 63 pitches. Not quite out of the third inning yet. Here's the 2-2. That's outside. Count is run full. 3 balls and 2 strikes. And Wilson Contreras is on deck. 3-2, here it is. That can't find the zone. That's ball 4. Senzatella issues a 2-out walk to Schwarber, which isn't the worst outcome. because first base was open. Now there's a force at every base with 2 outs. But Wilson Contreras is coming to the plate, and he hit a double off Senzatella in his first at-bat back in the first inning. Chops that one foul. That's strike 1. Wilson Contreras and David Ross were once teammates when Wilson Contreras was a rookie. Chopped on the ground. Contreras out at first. Thrown by Senzatella. Beats out Contreras, and that ends the inning. The Cubs can't score despite getting 2 runners on base. Going to the bottom of the third, it's Chicago 2, Colorado 2. I'm Nicholas Callis. You're watching Major League Baseball's virtual network, brought to you by MLB The Show 20. Here's Nolan Arenado. He hit a single in his first at-bat back in the first inning. Quintana on the mound, starting his third inning. Pitching to the Rockies, that pitch misses outside. That ripped foul. The count is now even at 1-1 strike. Arenado more or less the franchise face of this Rockies team after just being a great all-around player and a consistent player. Yency Almonte still in the bullpen for the Rockies. As Senzatella, the Rockies pitcher, has thrown over 60 pitches through his 3 innings starting. 1-2 pitch, here it comes. Chased by Arenado. He strikes out swinging. Quintana now with 2 strikeouts, and that's out number 1. The Cubs scored 2 runs in the top of the first. The Rockies scored 2 runs in the bottom of the second. This game knotted up at 2. And there's Daniel Murphy. He's 0 for 1 in this game. He was a 2006 13th round draft pick of the New York Mets and debuted in 2008. Murphy's entering his age 34 season. Used to play for this Cubs team, was traded from the Nationals to the Cubs toward the end of the 2018 season, and he was a big piece for them that allowed them to secure a home playoff spot in the wild card game. As Murphy flies out to Happ, that's the second out, but now that I think about it, this is a rematch of that 2018 National League wild card game because the Rockies ended up beating the Cubs at home when the Cubs were at home. Bottom of the third, 2 outs. And a swing and a miss by David Dahl. Facing Jose Quintana. Already 0 for 1 against him in this game. Here's the second pitch of the at-bat. That misses outside. That misses outside. David Dahl was a first-round draft pick of the Rockies in 2012. 2-1 pitch. Didn't make his debut until 2016, but has been a consistent piece of the outfield ever since. Him, Desmond, and Blackman have been the Rockies outfield for the better part of 3 seasons. Full count pitch. Here's Quintana into the wind, and here it is. Swing and a miss. Got him on the breaking ball, and that'll end the inning. Rockies fail to get anything going offensively in the bottom of the third. Going to the second third of this game, it's Chicago 2 and Colorado 2. Starting this 4th inning, it's Jason Hayward standing in for the Cubs. He grounded out back in the first inning. The the Cubs scored 2 runs and sent 6 batters to the plate in that first inning. Could have been much worse, too, because Bryant reached base on a walk to lead off the game. Then Rizzo grounded into a double play. Hit against the shift, but foul by Hayward, but could have been a lot worse. Baez was able to reach on a double, then Schwarber homered. Then Contreras doubled, and Hayward was the final out of that of that top of the first. Senzatella ahead in the count, 1 ball and 2 strikes on Hayward. Here's the pitch. That ripped well to right, and that's going to split the gap. And one hop the wall. Desmond plays it. Hayward stops at second, and that's a leadoff double for Jason Hayward. And Senzatella now already at 71 pitches. He's still going to pitch. Chris Bryant led off last inning with a double, and Senzatella worked around that. So let's watch how this inning unfolds now. Ian Happ, the switch hitter, batting from the left side of the plate. Struck out in his last at bat in the second. Hayward leads off second. Next pitch to Happ. That misses inside. Count is even at 1. That pitch misses inside. Counts now 2 balls and 1 strike on Happ. Happ batted .264 with 11 home runs and 30 RBIs in 58 games with the Cubs last season. Grounded to third, played by Arenado. Throws to Murphy. Hayward just stays at second. And Happ grounds out. He's now 0 for 2. 1 out top of the 4th. That'll bring up number 8 hitter Jason Kipnis. And here's Bud Black coming out of the bullpen for the Rockies. Senzatella, his day's over early into this one. Pitches 3 1/3 innings. And the only 2 runs he gave up were on the home run by Kyle Schwarber.
Your attention, please. Now,
his team backed him up, though, so
number 62.
He will end his game with a no decision. Here's Yency Almonte coming out of the bullpen for the Rockies. Senzatella will get a no decision at best, as Jason Kipnis comes up. His team getting those 2 runs in the bottom of the second allowed for that to happen, as Kipnis takes strike 1. Runner at scoring position at second in the form of Jason Hayward, and a fly ball by Kipnis. Out to center, played by Desmond. Hayward tags and doesn't go anywhere. And that's the second out of the inning. Here's Jose Quintana. He'll stand in with 2 outs and Hayward in scoring position. Hayward led off with a double. Happ grounded out to third. Then Senzatella was replaced by Almonte. And Jason Kipnis just flew out to center field. There's Quintana. Can help his cause with a base knock here. Hayward has good enough speed to score on a single.
1 ball, 2 strikes.
Especially with 2 outs, he'll get a good jump. Quintana down in the count now, though. It's 1-2. 2 outs, top of the 4th inning. This game knotted up at 2. Strike 3 called. Quintana a little bit upset. But the Rockies work around another leadoff double to keep the Cubs scoreless in an inning. 2-2 is the score. This is Cactus League Spring Training Major League Baseball on MLB's virtual network. I'm Nicholas Callis. This game brought to you literally by Major League Baseball, the show 20. So if you haven't heard already, this is a network where you can come and watch baseball while baseball isn't present in our real world. Pretend a little bit. Then you can watch and follow your favorite teams. McMahon almost went deep off Quintana. Relay in quickly. That stops McMahon from advancing no further than second base. But that was close to leaving the yard. That just kept carrying off the highest part of the wall. And the Rockies in business to start the bottom of the fourth inning. Here's Ian Desmond. He singled in his first at bat. Grounds it to the right side. Rizzo elects to go right to first base. McMahon advances from second to third. And a productive out for Desmond. That's one out.
The catcher, number 35, Diaz.
You can cover your favorite team starting on opening day, 2 games a day. A results recap at the end of every day so that every team is covered and results are covered for the fans that wish to watch. Here's Elias Diaz. And that's what this network is for, to bring you baseball when you feel like there's none. 1-0 pitch. Grounded left side, that's past Chris Bryant. Down into left field, Schwarber will play it. McMahon scores easily from third base. And Elias Diaz has an RBI single to his credit now, his first hit of the day. And that gives the Rockies a 3-2 lead here in the fourth. Pulled off that pitch, but was able to keep it fair. And now here's Yency Almonte. He's showing bunt, and he gets a bunt down the right side of the infield. Quintana will throw to Rizzo. Almonte's out at first. Going from first to second is Diaz, and that's a successful sacrifice bunt executed by Almonte, and that turns the order over for Trevor Story to bat with 2 outs and a runner in scoring position at second base. And whether you're watching on PlayStation Network, on the Twitter page at Virtual MLB, or whether you're watching through YouTube on the Major League Baseball Virtual Network channel, we welcome you and hope you're enjoying this game. This one's one of the more evenly offensive contested games so far. There was a pitcher's duel against the Pirates and the Yankees a few days ago. And the Mets routed the Marlins yesterday, 8-0. But this game right now is featuring 2 offensive powerhouses. 1-1 pitch coming to Story. That's foul. Cubs scored 2 runs on a Kyle Schwarber home run in the top of the first inning. The Rockies strung together some base runners and scored in the bottom of the second. That tied the game at 2. And now here in the fourth, the Rockies took a 3-2 lead on an Elias Diaz single. Two count, 2 outs, runner at second. That misses low, count is full, 3-2. Charlie Blackmon on deck. Might be an advantage for Quintana to face Blackmon instead of Story. We'll see what this pitch is. It's a 96-mile-per-hour fastball that strikes out Trevor Story, and that ends the inning. The Rockies take a 3-2 lead, however, over the Cubs as we go to the 5th inning. Top of the order due up for Chicago when we come back. Hey, look, we're back. It's the wonderful thing about broadcasts like this. There's no commercials. The teams don't need to warm up, so you can just enjoy baseball. Top of the order due up for the Cubs. It's Chris Bryant, Anthony Rizzo, and Javier Baez. Antonio Senzatella pitched 3 1/3 innings, was replaced by Yency Almonte in the 4th. Almonte hasn't completed a full inning yet on the mound. He's got a tough task on his hands right now, and you saw Estevez and Pezos warming up in the Rockies bullpen. The offense is applying some support for the pitching staff, and now it's going to be the pitching staff's duty to limit the runs as best as it can. Chris Bryant at the plate to lead off the inning. He led off the 3rd inning with a double. His offense couldn't bring him around. He also walked in his first at-bat, which was the first at-bat of the game. Spoils that pitch. Count still even at 2. Almonte's pitch. Ooh, that barely misses. Count run full 3-2. Good discipline by Bryant to extend this at-bat. Foul tip. Diaz holds on. And Almonte strikes out Bryant to kick off the 5th inning. Here comes Anthony Rizzo. Rizzo is 0 for 2, grounded into a double play and struck out in his first 2 at-bats. Takes strike 1 on that off-speed pitch by Almonte. Strike 2. Paint by Almonte right over the corners and the edges of the zone in this at-bat. Has Rizzo down quickly. No balls and 2 strikes. 0-2 pitch, found too much of the zone. Rizzo can't keep that fair, though. He hits it foul, and count remains 0-2. Breaking ball almost hits him. 1-2 count now. On the Cubs veteran first baseman. Chases that off-speed pitch, and down goes Rizzo for the 2nd out. So Chris Bryant strikes out, so too does Anthony Rizzo. That's the first 2 outs of the top of the 5th. And Javier Baez scheduled to bat with 2 outs and the bases empty for the Cubs. Takes strike 1. Almonte has been spotting pitches well in this inning. He got 2 strikeouts, primarily because of it. Now here's Javier Baez, 1 for 2. First time facing Almonte, though, and that's up the middle. 2-out single for Javier Baez. Desmond gets it in quickly. Now Baez has hit a single and has hit a double in this game, and that'll bring up the cleanup hitter, Kyle Schwarber. This is what Baez did in the first inning, too. He hit a 2-out double, and then Schwarber came up and drove him in on the home run. And that home run has been the only Cubs offense to this point of the game. That 2-run home run Schwarber hit. And Almonte got 2 strikeouts to start this inning, but gave up the single to Baez. And now has to face a tough hitter in Schwarber. Schwarber definitely favors hitting off of right-handed pitching as compared to left-handed pitching. That pitch can't find the zone either, and now Schwarber ahead in the count. 2 balls and no strikes. Schwarber last season with Chicago batted .250 with 38 home runs and 92 RBIs in 155 games played. Those were the most games he's played in his major league career. Now it's 2-1 on him. Chases a high fastball, and Almonte works the count back even. It's 2-2. That misses, and the count run full. Wilson Contreras is on deck for the Cubs. And Schwarber spoils that pitch. Another well-placed pitch by Almonte. But the at-bat stays alive. Baez should be running on the pitch as well. He goes. Strike three, caught at the top of the zone, and all three outs in the inning are strikeouts by Almonte. Cubs get no runs on a hit and leave one runner on base. Going to the bottom of the fifth inning, it's the Cubs trailing the Rockies 3-2. You're watching Major League Baseball's virtual network, brought to you by MLB The Show 20. I'm Nicholas Callis. This game has reached a halfway point. This is Cactus League spring training in Major League Baseball between the Cubs and the Rockies, a couple National League teams. Charlie Blackmon takes strike one. The Rockies are part of the National League Western Division, and the Cubs are part of the National League Central Division. Quintana working up to 70 pitches now through 4+ innings. Foul ball, and now Blackmon behind in the count, 1 ball and 2 strikes. That pitch misses high, and the count is now 2 balls and 2 strikes on the quality hitter in Blackmon. Swing and a fly ball hit weakly out to the outfield. There's Jason Hayward. And he catches it. That's an out of Charlie Blackmon to start the bottom of the fifth for the Rockies, and that'll bring up cleanup hitter Nolan Arenado. No, number 3 hitter, Nolan Arenado. Arenado singled in the first inning. 1 for 2 in this one, and line drive. Look at Anthony Rizzo.
The first baseman, number 9.
And that's pretty disappointing. You hit a ball that hard, but that's the nature of baseball. Arenado out on 1 pitch that he hit really well, and that's the second out. Now here's Daniel Murphy. 2 outs, bases empty, bottom of the fifth. Rockies lead 3-2. Pitch misses outside, ball 1. Cubs scored 2 runs on a Schwarber home run in the top of the first. Bottom of the second rolled around. The Rockies ended up scoring 2 runs to tie the game as that ball is lined to Chris Bryant. He makes the catch. Murphy's out, and a 1-2-3 inning for the Cubs on defense. No runs on no hits and nobody left on. Going to the 6th, it's the Rockies 3 and the Cubs 2. You're watching Major League Baseball's virtual network. 5-6-7 due up for the Cubs to start the 6th inning. Wilson Contreras, Jason Hayward, and Ian Happ all due up. First pitch strike from Yency Almonte. Came in the 4th to relieve Antonio Senzatella, and hasn't given up a run through 2 outs in the 4th and through the complete 5th inning, and starts the 6th inning with a pop out, getting Contreras to pop out to short. 1 away. And Contreras pulled off that pitch high and outside, and that's usually the result, is a weak pop-up on the infield. And Jason Hayward will come to the plate 0 for 1, but doubled in his last at-bat. Hayward was one of a couple hitters who in back-to-back innings hit a leadoff double. Bryant did it in the 3rd, and then Hayward did it in the 4th, and the Rockies pitching staff was able to work around both leadoff doubles and keep the Cubs right at 2 runs. Cubs haven't scored since the 1st. That pitch misses low, counts 2-0 on Hayward. The Rockies took the lead in the 4th inning on an Elias Diaz single. Still a one-run game. 3-0 pitch. Swung on and missed. Hayward had the green light. That was a well-placed pitch, though, by Almonte. 3-1's the count. Hayward, a former Atlanta Brave, St. Louis Cardinal. A master on defense. Not so much anymore with the bat, but he takes a one-out walk there from Almonte. The Rockies had some action in the bullpen, and right as I say that, Almonte is finished. Pitches 2 full innings on his line score, although he pitched in 3 different innings. James Pezos comes on, and he'll pitch now for the Rockies. After Almonte issued a leadoff walk to Hayward, now here's Ian Happ. Switch hitter will bat from the right side against the left-hander Pezos. First pitch misses inside. That's ball 1. Happ hitless in 2 at-bats. And this is the 3rd different pitcher he's facing as well. Fly ball toward right field. Blackman tracks it, makes the catch, gets it in quickly, and Hayward goes back to first. That's the second out.
Now batting, the second baseman, Jason.
So on the mound, James Pezos. In 12 games last season, Pezos did not have any decisions. Had a 1.74 ERA. That was in 10 innings pitched. Started his career with the New York Yankees. Pitched in a few games for them in 2015 and 16. Went to Seattle in 2017. Was used more there, as that's on the ground to second. Played by McMahon over to Murphy. Out at first is Kipnis. That ends the inning. Pezos gets the final 2 outs of the top of the 6th. That keeps the score right where it is. Go to the bottom of the 6th. It's Colorado 3 and Chicago 2. You're watching Major League Baseball's virtual network, brought to you by MLB The Show 20. I'm Nicholas Callis. This is the 4th spring training game covered here on the network, and this is the best game of all of them so far, at least in terms of evenly matched teams. That's hit into center, and it's a leadoff single for David Dahl.
Second baseman, Ryan McMahon.
And you can't really square a ball up much better than that. Just send it right back from where it came. A well-earned single for David Dahl. Now here's Ryan McMahon, who almost went deep in his last at-bat. He, however, ended up scoring when Elias Diaz hit his single. He scored twice in this game. It was 2 of the 3 runs on the Rockies scoreline. He walked in his first at-bat, and it's that ball foul. Counts quickly 0-2. Jose Quintana working up toward 80 pitches now. And we saw some action in the Cubs bullpen. Ryan Tepera, one of the pitchers throwing. Swing and a miss. McMahon chased that pitch. Quintana has struck out 5 now, and that's the first out at the bottom of the 6th. David Ross is coming out of the dugout. Quintana's done. So he is in line for the loss right now, if the Cubs don't come back to at least tie it.
Your attention, please. Now pitching.
Trevor McGill comes out of the bullpen, and he's going to pitch now for the Cubs.
McGill.
So Quintana goes 5 1/3, and Dahl is still his responsibility. Right now, Quintana's given up 2 earned runs on his line, and that's pending if Dahl scores in this bottom of the 6th inning. Pop up. Contreras makes a routine play, and on 1 pitch, Desmond's out. And that's the second out of this bottom of the inning. That'll bring up number 8 hitter Elias Diaz. Cubs will manage this at bat knowing that the pitcher spot's on deck for the Rockies. James Pezos has pitched less than a full inning. He came in the top of the 6th, didn't give up any runs. Replaced Yency Almonte. But now here's Elias Diaz. David Dahl hit a leadoff single, and the next 2 Rockies hitters got out. And now the count's even, 1 ball and 1 strike on Diaz. One pitch fouled off. McGill now ahead in the count. It's 1 ball, 2 strikes on Diaz. Here comes the pitch. That's high. Counts even now. 2 balls and 2 strikes on the young catcher now of the Rockies. Once played for the Pittsburgh Pirates. Was a promising prospect that didn't work out in Pittsburgh. Now bringing his services to the Rockies. 2-2 pitch. Called strike 3 at the top of the zone. McGill gets a strikeout to end the bottom of the 6th. Last half of regulation coming up, or last third of regulation coming up in this game. It's the Rockies 3 and the Cubs 2. You're watching Major League Baseball's virtual network. This game quickly getting underway. Victor Caratini will bat in place of the pitcher's spot. And it's a first pitch grounder to McMahon, who plays it. Throws to Murphy, and that's the first out.
The bat, the third baseman, Chris Bryant.
So quick first out, and that'll bring up the top of the order again. Chris Bryant scheduled to bat. James Pezos still on the mound. Came in last inning, in the middle of the inning, to replace Yency Almonte. And is about to throw pitch number 6 of his outing. And it's a strike to Chris Bryant, 0-1. Major League Baseball rule now is that each pitcher must face at least 3 hitters, and that counts toward separate innings as well. So if a pitcher gets 1 out in an inning that already had 2 outs in it, that pitcher still has to come out the next inning and face 2 more hitters before being eligible to be substituted for. No ball, 2 strike pitch. On the ground but foul. Counts to 0-2. Bryant 1 for 2 in this game. He hit a double for his only hit. On the ground, softly hit toward the middle. His shift was on, so that's McMahon throwing to Murphy. And Bryant's out at first, and that's the second out of the top of the 7th inning. So now Pezos has officially faced 3 batters. And Rizzo, the lefty, coming up, and Pezos being a left-handed thrower. This would be a matchup advantage for the Rockies. Rizzo, a significantly better hitter against right-handed pitching as compared to left. But he'll face Pezos here with 2 outs. Bases empty. Cubs down a run. Rizzo 0 for 3 in this game. Swing and a ground ball right side. That's a fair ball. Gets past Daniel Murphy. Blackman will play it and throw it right into second. So that's a two-out double for Anthony Rizzo.
Up next to the Cubs, the shortstop, Javier.
And Bud Black coming back out from the dugout, and he's going to the home plate umpire. So there's a double switch
Ladies and gentlemen,
that's going to happen here.
please.
Carlos Estevez comes in for the Rockies. He's going to pitch now.
And batting in the 8th, number 54, Carlos Estevez. Now catching and batting 9, number 14, Tony Walter.
So you heard that. Elias Diaz is out of the game. So this double switch puts Tony Walters in the game. Walters will bat 9th, which means Walters will lead off the bottom of the 7th for the Rockies. And the pitcher spot has now been moved to the 8th spot, and Carlos Estevez fills that right now. Here's Javier Baez batting, having a solid offensive day. He's 2 for 3. Has singled and doubled in this game. And as a hitter's count here, 2-0. Here's the pitch. Breaking ball misses low, and advantage well in Baez's favor now. It's 3 balls and no strikes. Rizzo's aboard at first. He had a 2-out single. And that's ball 4, and a 2-out walk issued to Baez. Rizzo advances to second on the play. And Estevez now on batter 2 of his 3 required batters to face in a game. And it'll be Kyle Schwarber, the only player to drive in runs for the Cubs. He hit a 2-run home run back in the first inning. And sends one deep out to right center field. Desmond tracks it. Desmond makes the catch. The Cubs strand 2. And after the top of the 7th, it's still the Rockies 3 and the Cubs 2. You're watching spring training baseball on MLB's virtual network.
Your attention, please. Now,
and a new pitcher coming in for the Cubs.
Number 52.
It's Ryan Tepera. Former Toronto Blue Jay will pitch for the Cubs now. Signed a deal this offseason with the Cubs, who have needed some bullpen support. It's one of the reasons the Cubs went out and signed Craig Kimbrell in the middle of the season because of a need of bullpen help. Kimbrell did not receive his $100 million that he requested in his contract, but still making a healthy sum in Chicago. So here's Tony Walters, a player who has history with this team. The Cubs and Rockies wildcard game went in deep into extra innings, and Walters had the go-ahead base hit against the Cubs that eventually won the Rockies that wildcard game and sent them to the division series. He's down on the count here 0-2, and spoils that pitch and stays alive in the at-bat. Oh, 2 pitch. On the ground right side, that's played by Kipnis. He'll throw to Rizzo, and Walters is out to begin the bottom of the 7th. And that will bring up the leadoff hitter, Trevor Story. You're watching Major League Baseball's virtual network, brought to you by MLB The Show 20. I'm Nicholas Callis. This game's still close. If the game ended right now, Jose Quintana would get the loss. I don't think Senzatella would get the win. I believe Yency Almonte would get the win because he came in when the game was still tied. That pitch just misses. That's a ball. Casey Sadler, Jeremy Jeffress, 2 right-handed pitchers throwing in the Cubs bullpen. But early offense has resulted in this close score. The Cubs haven't scored since the top of the 1st. And the Rockies haven't scored since the bottom of the 4th. Each team had at least one opportunity, to score in an inning after getting runners on base and failed to do so. Walters grounded out to begin this inning, and now here's Trevor Story swinging and missing at the 2-0 pitch. He's still ahead in the count, 2-1. He's got a hit in 3 at-bats. Tepera's 2-1. Hit one to right field, but Hayward tracked it routinely, and that's the second out of the bottom of the 7th. And with 2 outs, Charlie Blackmon will come to the plate for the Rockies. Already marveled at what a quality hitter that Blackman is. Here's the pitch. That misses. That's a ball. It's 1-0.
1 ball, no strike.
Charlie Blackman,
Ball 2.
an all-star in the National League. Played in Cleveland and hit a home run in that All-Star game, the 2019 All-Star game. His first All-Star appearance was in 2014. Here's the 3-0. Swings 3-0 and gets himself a base hit. Hayward throws it into Kipnis, and Blackman extends the inning with a 2-out single, and he swung at a 3-0 pitch. Was a bit out in front of that pitch, too. That was an outside fastball that he steered toward the right side and got it through the infield. And that'll give Nolan Arenado a chance to bat with a runner on. Here in the bottom of the 7th. Fouls that first pitch off. Arenado's last hit was back in the first inning. He has since gone 0 for 2. Facing Ryan Tepera for the first time. In this game, at least. Here's the 0-1. Off-speed pitch finds the zone. Arenado down in the count now. It's no balls and 2 strikes on the All-Star third baseman. In his career, even though he's been such a consistent player, Arenado has never won a Most Valuable Player award. Ever.
1 ball, 2 strikes.
1-2's the count now. The delivery and the pitch from Tavera. Here it is. Check swing. The appeal is not successful for the Cubs. So now the count's even. 2 balls and 2 strikes. 2 outs. Blackman's on first. The Rockies up a run. Potential insurance on base. Hit in the air left field. Schwarber seems to have it, and he does. That ends the inning. The Rockies get no runs on a hit in that bottom of the 7th inning and leave 1 runner on base. After 7 full innings, it's the Colorado Rockies 3 and the Chicago Cubs 2.
Your attention, please. Now
And a new pitcher coming in.
number 51. Jake.
Carlos Estevez has finished his outing. Jake McGee will come on,
Leading off for the Cubs.
and he'll pitch at least the first part of the 8th inning. He's got 5, 6, 7 due up in the Cubs order. It's Wilson Contreras, Jason Hayward, and then Ian Happen. Oh, goodness. Wilson Contreras leads off the inning with a home run. The first pitch Jake McGee throws is a soft serve for Wilson Contreras. This game's tied at 3. Jose Quintana is now off the hook for the loss. Ooh, and that stayed just inside the foul pole. Yeah, McGee knew it. McGee knew it too. So now this game's tied at 3 in the top of the 8th inning. This is Cactus League Spring Training Major League Baseball, and you're watching it on MLB's Virtual Network. This is brought to you by MLB The Show 20. I'm Nicholas Callis. Whether you're watching through PlayStation Network, whether you're watching through the MLB Virtual Network Twitter page, or whether you're watching on YouTube on the MLB Virtual Network channel, welcome. All of you watching this game, it just got that much more interesting. The Cubs haven't scored since the first inning. Jairo Diaz and Brian Shaw in the bullpen. But Wilson Contreras homered and broke that stretch. The Cubs have scored on 2 home runs, a 2-run homer by Kyle Schwarber in the first inning, and that Wilson Contreras home run to lead off the eighth. Hayward ahead in the count now, 2 balls and a strike. But all the decisions have been reset. There is no winning or losing pitcher anymore. This game tied at 3 late. 2-1 pitch from Jake McGee. And quite unfortunate for McGee that the first pitch he threw turned into a home run hit by Wilson Contreras. He just came into the game. Another 2-2 to Hayward, and a 92-mile-per-hour sinker is swung on and missed, and McGee rebounds well with a strikeout of Hayward, and that's the first out of the top of the 8th inning. And that'll bring up the switch hitting versatile Cubs player Ian Happ, batting from the right side. Playing center field for the Cubs in today's game, and he's hitless in 3 at-bats. Takes ball 1. Of course, this is still spring ball, so not that winning pitchers and losing pitchers matter as much as it would the regular season. This game will only go 10 innings at most. But what a performance by both teams so far. Seen some decent pitching, but the offenses both have shown quite well for both of these teams. Happ awaiting the 2-1 by McGee, and that's hit well, but steers foul down the left field line, and the count's even at 2-2. Two-two pitch, here it comes. Ripped down the third base line, but Arenado snags it before it touches the ground, and that's the second out of the inning.
The second baseman, Jason Kipnis.
Now it's Jason Kipnis, the number 8 hitter, will come into bat. Ryan Tepera in the pitcher's spot is on deck. First pitch from McGee to Kipnis. That's inside, ball 1. So a few years ago, more for McGee than Kipnis, because Kipnis just played for the Indians last year, but both these players were a part of the American League earlier in their career. McGee broke out with the Tampa Bay Rays, and of course Kipnis made a name for himself playing for the Cleveland Indians all those years and being a quality second baseman for them. Now both of these teams in the National League, and Kipnis beats the shift, and that's going to roll pretty far. Kipnis rounds first, he's going to second. Throw by Dahl is right into second, but Kipnis into second already, and that's going to be a 2-out double for Kipnis and the Cubs, and there's the bench for the Cubs. Steven Souza Jr. and David Bodie, a couple of quality hitters for this team that I'm sure they'd want to use in this next at-bat. And it will be David Bodie coming off the bench. And a matchup that favors the Cubs, right-handed hitter against the left-handed pitcher. Strike 1 on the pitch from McGee. So Wilson Contreras led off this inning with a home run. Then Jason Hayward and Ian Happ both got out. And then Jason Kipnis hit a 2-out double. And David Bodie pops this one up. There's Daniel Murphy to make the catch. The Cubs leave a runner on, but Wilson Contreras, a hero at the moment, hit a solo home run and tied this game at 3 going to the bottom of the 8th.
Your attention, please. Now
So David Bodie pinch hit for Ryan Tepera, which means a new pitcher needs to come on the mound for the Cubs. David Bodie will not remain in the game anywhere. Jeremy Jeffress comes out of the bullpen to pitch for the Cubs. And Jeffress has been around a few teams. He really broke out with the Milwaukee Brewers on their playoff runs. It was 2018, and he was a quality setup man for them. He's also got a track record with the Kansas City Royals and the Texas Rangers. But he's been around a number of teams over the years, and as a veteran now giving his services to the Cubs. 1-1 pitch, that's too high. 4, 5, 6 hitters due up for the Rockies. It'll be Daniel Murphy, David Dahl, and Ryan McMahon. Murphy, the only one of those three players that is hitless to this point in the game. Takes ball 3 inside, and he's in a quality hitter's count now. 3 balls and 1 strike. Jeffers' pitch. On the ground and foul, and now Murphy in a 3-2 count. Leading off the bottom of the 8th for the Rockies. Hits that one well to center. Happ on the run, and Happ will make the catch. So Daniel Murphy set down to begin the bottom of the 8th inning. David Dahl getting ready to bat. The Rockies haven't scored since the bottom of the 4th inning. 2-run homer by Kyle Schwarber gave the Cubs an early 2-0 lead in the top of the 1st. That pitch is ripped ball to left field, heading toward the line. That's going to stay fair, and David Dahl already on his way to second. Schwarber's throw in is cut off by Baez, and it's a 1-out double for David Dahl. Well, the Cubs scored 2 in the top of the 1st. The Rockies strung together some hits in the bottom of the 2nd, and even Antonio Senzatella got himself an RBI as the pitcher. Garrett Hampson now running at second base for David Dahl. That pitch misses outside. Then Elias Diaz hit an RBI single. They gave the Rockies a 3-2 lead in the bottom of the 4th. But then last half inning, Wilson Contreras hit a solo home run that made this game tied. The Cubs tied the game at 3 as Ryan McMahon grounds out to Kipnis for the 2nd out. But this has been a well-played ball game by both teams. Kipnis with another fine play over there at second. He's defensively played well in this game, too. He also has a hit. So Hampson moves from second to third on the play, and Raimel Tapia comes to the plate facing Jeremy Jeffress. And the go-ahead run's on third base. Tapia, .275 hitter last year as a platoon outfielder. Him and Desmond typically split outfield duties since Tapia is a left-handed hitter. He usually faces the right-handed hitters, and Desmond, a right-handed hitter, usually faces left-handed pitchers. But Tapia comes in now, and he's batting for Desmond in the 7th spot. The pitcher spot's due up next for the Rockies after they executed a double switch earlier in the game. So another bat most likely to come off the bench if Tapia can get on. Kipnis to Rizzo, and that's not the case. So the bottom of the 8th concludes, and the 8th spot will come up next half inning for the Rockies. Rockies get no runs in that bottom of the 8th inning. Last inning of regulation, and this scoreline is all tied up. So Garrett Hampson is playing left field. Raimel Tapia is playing center field, and that's at least it for now. Bud Black coming out of the dugout for the 2nd time. He already initiated one double switch, and now we're going to see how this one unfolds. Jairo Diaz is going to come in and pitch. And that's the story right now. Here's Chris Bryant. He'll come up. He's led off now 4 times for the Cubs in an inning. That's rare that you see your leadoff hitter lead off that many times in a game, but the Cubs have been through their batting order frequently. Bryant 1 for 3. Takes that first pitch. He doubled earlier in this game. And now in the hitters count, it's 2-0. It'll be Bryant, Anthony Rizzo, and Javier Baez all scheduled to bat in the top half of the 9th. Didn't go on that one. It's 3-0. And keep in mind, Diaz has to throw to 3 hitters before he can be replaced. So Rizzo being the left-handed hitter doesn't matter. Diaz will have to throw to Rizzo and to Baez unless he gets injured somehow. Count run full 3-2 now on Bryant. .97 on that fastball is fouled off. The Cubs scored in the first inning and in the 8th inning. Rockies scored in the 2nd and the 4th. And that's a leadoff walk to Chris Bryant from Jairo Diaz.
The first baseman, number 44.
And that'll bring up Anthony Rizzo. Left-handed hitting first baseman for the Cubs. 1 for 4. He singled his last time around. Cubs got a game-tying home run by Wilson Contreras to lead off last inning. And again, the Rockies haven't scored since the bottom of the 4th inning. First pitch from Diaz to Rizzo is not a swing. It's ball 1. Walters didn't ask for an appeal. And the home plate umpire called it a ball. It's 1-0. Swing, and that's foul. Counts even at 1. Swing and a line drive right field. There's Blackman. He makes the catch. And Bryant will be forced to go back to first. And there's one out and a big out for Jairo Diaz, but still has some dangerous hitters coming up. It's Javier Baez batting now. He already has 2 hits, and Kyle Schwarber is on deck. First pitch. Strike 1 called. We're going to miss strike 2. Javier Baez was named an All-Star over the last 2 seasons in 2018 and 2019. Was also a National League Silver Slugger Award winner in 2018 for second baseman. That pitch misses inside. Also participated in the Home Run Derby in 2018 as well. Got a track record entering his age 27 season. Has achieved a lot throughout his young career. Also a World Series champion as the second baseman of the Cubs. Now, of course, he's progressed to shortstop since that's opened up for the Cubs. That pitch hit well to left. Dahl's going to run it down potentially. Oh, he can't make the play. Oh, and he's going to get hit with an error on that one as well. That's tough. He did technically run it down, but just couldn't make the catch. Count still 1-2. And Baez hits that the other way now to right field, and that's going to touch foul ground as well. So the count's still 1-2. Swinging, that's fouled off. Count remains 1-2. Baez, a career .270 hitter, has 110 home runs. and 354 RBIs in 6 seasons with the Cubs. Grounds that one towards short. Played by Story to McMahon. Over to Murphy, and that's a double play that ends the Cubs' top of the 9th. Last half inning of regulation, it's the Cubs 3 and the Rockies 3. We'll be back. Hey, look, we're back. No commercials here on Major League Baseball's virtual network. 8-9-1 hitters due up for the Rockies. This game tied at 3, entering the bottom of the 9th, and Sam Hilliard hits it right to Anthony Rizzo, who completes the force out at first. And that's one quick out to start this bottom of the 9th. Sam Hilliard came in as a defensive replacement. No, excuse me, he was a pinch hitter for the pitcher, because the Rockies did a double switch earlier in the game. So now here's Tony Walters, who was a part of that double switch. Elias Diaz was taken out of the 8 spot and was replaced with the pitcher's spot, and then Tony Walters came in to replace the pitcher's spot in the number 9 spot as the catcher. And he's quickly down, no balls and 2 strikes. Jeremy Jeffress, so far efficient, got Hilliard out on 1 pitch and has Walters down quickly, no balls and 2 strikes. Can't find the zone with that one. Counts down 1-2 on Tony Walters. Trevor Story at the top of the order will bat next. High in the air to right. Kipnis calls off Hayward and makes the catch. And Jeffress gets 2 quick outs of Rockies hitters. And the order is going to recycle. It's going to be Trevor Story coming up, and he'll bat with 2 outs. And the base is empty. He's got a single and a run batted in. Swings and misses at that pitch, strike 1. Jeffress pitched last inning and looks to shut the door on the Rockies this inning well, and he's well on his way to doing that. It's quickly 0-2. Fouled away. Well-placed pitch by Jeffress, but Story spoils it and stays alive in the count. It's no balls and 2 strikes. Popped into the air behind home plate, Wilson Contreras. He'll make the catch, and regulation not enough to complete this baseball game. Because it's spring, there will be only 1 more inning. But Chicago and Colorado tied at 3 after 9 in this Cactus League Major League Baseball spring training game. You're watching Major League Baseball's virtual network, brought to you by MLB The Show 20. I'm Nicholas Callis, and a well-played game by both of these teams. Played so well that we're going into extras. Jairo Diaz still on the mound. Kyle Schwarber to lead off for the Cubs. It's 4-5-6 due up for Chicago. Kyle Schwarber, Wilson Contreras, and Jason Hayward scheduled to bat in the top of the 10th. The Cubs scored a run, or 2 runs, in the first inning on this hitter, Kyle Schwarber's 2-run home run. That made it 2-0. The Colorado Rockies in the bottom of the 2nd, strung together some walks and hits, tied the game at 2 in the bottom of the 2nd. Then in the 4th, the Rockies got a run on an Elias Diaz single that gave the Rockies a 3-2 lead. But then in the 8th inning, Wilson Contreras led off with a solo home run that tied the game at 3. And here we are, the last inning of this game. Whether it's tied or not, this will be the last inning because it's a spring training game. And there's Kyle Schwarber swinging and missing at that pitch.
Up next for the Cubs, the catcher,
And that's the first out of extra innings, or one extra inning for that matter, because there will only be one. Here's Wilson Contreras. Inside, ball one. Contreras, one of the reasons why this game went to this extra inning, because of that home run he hit his last time around. He's 2 for 4, has a home run and a double to his credit, and ahead in this at bat now, a 2-0 count on him. Well outside, 98 from Diaz, and the count now 3 balls and no strikes. Jason Hayward's on deck for the Cubs. 3-0. He got the green light on 3-0 and just misses hitting that ball a long way. Arenado makes the catch, but Diaz made a mistake on that pitch, left it up in the zone. And Contreras is out. That's 2 outs. Here's Jason Hayward. Hayward 1 for 3. He's walked and doubled in 4 plate appearances. And takes strike 1 toward the top of the zone. One ball and 1 strike now on Hayward, the veteran outfielder, playing right field in today's game. 1-1. Hit well on the ground to the right side, played there by Daniel Murphy, steps on first base himself, and Hayward's out to end the top half of the inning. Well, it will be the last half inning coming up next. The Rockies, one more chance to win this game. It's 3-3, Chicago and Colorado tied.
Your attention, please.
Casey Sadler coming out of the bullpen, just getting some work in with the Chicago Cubs. His job is to let this game end in a tie. 2, 3, 4 hitters due up for the Rockies. Charlie Blackmon, Nolan Arenado, and Daniel Murphy scheduled to hit. First pitch from Sadler. Check swing, that's called a strike. It's 0-1. You're watching Major League Baseball's virtual network, brought to you by MLB The Show 20. I'm Nicholas Callis. There will be another spring training game tomorrow, more than likely in the Grapefruit League. But check the Twitter page for that announcement. At Virtual MLB is where you can look. Grounded right side, played there by Jason Kipnis, throws to Rizzo. Charlie Blackmon's out to lead off the bottom of the 10th for the Rockies.
Now batting, third baseman, Nolan.
But don't forget, the featured games of the day on opening day have been announced on the Twitter page. 4:10 game on Thursday between the Twins and the Athletics. Watch Josh Donaldson make his regular season debut with the Twins. And watch that stacked lineup as well that already set a record for team home runs in a single season. And then at 7:10 Eastern Standard Time, or Eastern Daylight I guess it is now, but watch the Braves and the Diamondbacks. They'll play each other 7:10 Eastern Time. That'll be Madison Bumgarner's debut with the Diamondbacks against a solid team that just signed Marcell Ozuna and won the National League East, the Atlanta Braves. 1-1 pitch. Swing and a fly ball hit to left field. Nolan Arenado has ended this game in 10. Solo home run, Nolan Arenado. Rockies win 4-3 in a tightly contested game. Casey Sadler cannot pitch out of the 10th. Credit Arenado for turning on that inside pitch too, and he hit that a long way. That's the first home run hit by the Rockies in this game. Arenado, the player of the game, solely for ending this one with a home run. Yeah, and that's now a baseball card. Watch that ball fly. Nolan Arenado, 2 hits in 5 at-bats. But that home run was the most important one. Gives the Rockies a win in spring training. And there's the final scoreline. Colorado, 4 runs on 10 hits. 1 error. Chicago, 3 runs on 9 hits. No errors committed. Jairo Diaz gets the win. Casey Sadler gets the loss after serving up the home run to Nolan Arenado. Final score lines, or the stat lines for the pitchers. There aren't really very many. Neither pitcher made it past inning 6. That was Quintana, the starter for the Cubs, and for the Rockies, Senzatella.
Time of the ball game, 2 hours and 59 minutes.
But that'll do it here from
Thank you for joining us here
this spring training facility. This has been Cactus League Baseball on MLB's virtual network. I'm Nicholas Callis. This game brought to you by MLB The Show 20. Don't forget, on Thursday, it's opening day. Featured games will be the Twins versus the Athletics, 4:10 Eastern Time, and then the Braves and the Diamondbacks will play at 7:10 Eastern Time. You can cover that all here on MLB's virtual network, and don't forget to follow the Twitter page at Virtual MLB for more news and coverage of your favorite Major League Baseball teams. But till then, I'm Nicholas Callis. More spring training will come in tomorrow, and that news will be announced sometime tomorrow morning on who will get featured for spring training. But I'm Nicholas Callis. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you tomorrow.